Hi there, Beeville. This is Cindy Clark from PAC-B TV, and I am here tonight. Actually, I'm here tonight. I'm pitch hitting for Rob Just, who typically does these interviews with the Baldwinsville Theater Guild. Rob is a little under the weather, and I hope you're feeling better, Rob. But tonight, I have Catherine Woods with me tonight, who is the managing director of the Baldwinsville Theater Guild. And she is going to tell us about their new project that's up and coming just in a few weeks, or a few days, actually.
A couple weeks. Couple weeks.
And she's going to fill us in on the new play, the Laramie project. So I get right to it. Tell me what it's all about, or give me some background.
Sure.
And then give me some more background as far as what's up and coming for the Theater Guild.
Absolutely. So first of all, Rob, we miss you. So we hope you're getting better. So the Laramie project is a project that was created by the Teutonic Theater Project out of New York City after the brutal murder of Matthew Shepard, who was a gay HIV positive student at the University of Wyoming, who was just brutally beaten and left for dead in Laramie, Wyoming. So after that, the Teutonic Theater Project went to Laramie, Wyoming and interviewed more than 200 residents of Laramie on how this affected them as both individuals and as a town on the whole. So it's a very moving, emotional project that we were lucky enough to be able to bring back. It was originally slated to be in our 2020 season, but was shut down because of COVID.
Right.
So we were thrilled to be able to bring it back and bring back a few of the cast members who had originally said yes to the project back in 2020, and with a director at the helm that has a passion for the show, having done it in high school. So he was thrilled to come aboard and direct the show. So
now it's my understanding that the cast is a very small cast.
Yes, so we have 10 members of the cast who will play more than 30 of the townspeople throughout the show. So
well, that's quite a project.
It is quite a project.
Whoa,
So
we're trying to remember all those lines.
So
I know.
some of them are playing members of the Teutonic players, some of them are playing members of the town, some of them are playing the actual accused.
Okay.
So,
okay.
For the Matthew Shepard beatings and things like that. So it's pretty powerful.
Wow. Now when is it? When is it coming here?
So we open on May 12th.
Okay.
So we'll have May 12th and 13th at 7:30.
Okay.
And then the following week on May 19th and 20th at 7:30, and then a matinee on the 21st at 3 o'clock.
Okay.
Tickets are $22 for adults, $18 for students and seniors. And we are going to run a special that if you are watching this today, you will have a special price ticket of $16 if you call our box office and mention that you saw us on PAC-B.
Well, thank you very much.
So it will be, our box office number right now is 315-546-5234, and Christina will happily set that up for you so you get that special discounted ticket.
Excellent.
Yay.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, what other projects do you have in the works coming, down the road?
Yeah, so we just actually had our auditions for our summer youth program, 13 the musical. So we have about 30 kids participating in that musical this summer from Baldwinsville, from Liverpool, from Wheatsport, from Solvay, and they're very excited to get started. Our board president, Sierra Windhausen, is going to be directing that along with Nick Godzak, who have been doing this program for the last 5 years or so, minus our COVID years. So they're very excited to get started, and we will be announcing that cast on Friday, April 29th. So probably by the time this airs, our cast will be announced, and the kids are very excited about it, and that will run the second and third weekends in July.
Okay.
And then on August 19th, we will have our second cabaret series of the season, which will be a Beatles theme. So we're very excited. That will be a one-night only event. This one will be at the Fireside again. We had a partnership with the Fireside in February that was wonderful. They were great to partner with. So Joanna at the Fireside and I are working together to bring this program also to the Fireside, and she will be open for dinner reservations this time around. So you can come have dinner and then stay and see a show afterwards.
A dinner, is it like a dinner theater?
So it won't be dinner theater. She's just going to open for dinner before our show.
Okay,
so
okay.
she'll be open for dinner from I think 3 to 6-ish.
Okay.
And then there will be an open bar at 6 o'clock with the show at 7 o'clock.
Okay.
So, and the dinner will be an extra charge on top of the ticket price if you choose to come to dinner. But more details about that will be forthcoming.
Well, and keep us in the loop.
I
Definitely keep us in the
will.
loop.
We're very excited about it. And then in October, we have Almost Maine, and auditions for that will be coming up in June.
Okay.
So watch our Facebook page and our Instagram page for.
Now that will all be here at the
Yes.
church, the Presbyterian church.
Correct.
Okay.
The Presbyterian
Okay.
Church, our home stage, will be where the summer youth program is presented, and Almost Maine.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much
Thank
again,
you.
Catherine. I
Yep.
appreciate all the information.
Yep, not a
I'm
problem.
very excited about all of this as well.
Yeah, we're very excited, especially about the Laramie project. We were fortunate enough to get a grant actually to help put that
Okay.
that program on. So it was administered through CNY Arts here in Syracuse, New York, but it's actually a grant through the New York State Re-Grant Program
Okay.
to kind of help people and theaters with getting through the COVID problems
It's
that
been
we've
tough.
had with
Yeah.
getting people into the theater. So it's so we've been very fortunate to have that grant to help us
Oh, that's
present
great.
this program.
I
So,
wish you the absolute best of luck. And
Thank
thanks so
you.
much for taking time out of your busy evening.
Yes,
And we'll see you at the play.
absolutely.
Okay. All right,
Thank
thanks,
you.
Catherine.
It's on the third shelf down on the property shelf.
And for right,
Your pop
no, that is not. The podium is gone. Thank you.
And this is put back a little bit.
Yes.
Hi Beeville, this is Cindy Clark. I'm back again with the Ballsville Theater Guild, and now I have Nick Depot, who is the director for the Laramie project, and Nick is going to tell us a little bit about first time directing, how he got involved in this, and the challenges of directing about 12 people for 60 to 65 different roles. Okay? All right, Nick. First, why don't you tell us how you got involved in this and directing and all of that?
Great, yeah. So I've always been a part of a big musical and theatrical family. Both of my parents are involved with the Jordan Elbridge High School. They do the musicals there, so I kind of grew up being involved in that. And I ended up going to college. I got my BFA in musical theater. So I did a little bit of assistant directing and production assistant work, but I never fully directed something myself. So I was fortunate enough to be a part of Kinky Boots here, and that was a smash hit. We had a wonderful time with that. And I was approached by Colin Keating, and he said, "Hey, we need a director. Are you interested?" And I said, "Of course."
There you go.
Yeah. So that's how I got involved to be the director for the show, and it's really amazing. I jumped at the opportunity because. When I was in high school, I actually was able to be in this, well, not this production, but a production of Laramie Project, and it was directed by Chris Spring, who's actually going to be our costumer for this, so it's come full circle.
Small world,
it's
isn't
a small
it?
world.
Yes, it is.
And that was 10 years ago, which makes me feel very old compared to where I was when I first played this, but I was a freshman in high school, and I played the role of Aaron Kreifels, so I've always kind of felt a connection to the show, and I think it's a timely piece, right? it's just it's one of those important shows that addresses hate crime. It addresses some of the harsher topics about society, kind of exposes it and cuts right through it, and it's definitely not a happy, joyous show. Mm-hmm. It's a deep, dark show. But that doesn't mean that there's moments of comedy, right?
Okay.
So we have a wonderfully talented cast, 12 people, and these 12 people, as you said, they play about 60 to 65 characters. So being an actor first, that's how I'm approaching this for directing, right? I'm approaching this from a standpoint of, okay, I know what it's like to memorize all this. I know what it's like to have to become all these different characters, and Yeah, it's a challenge. It's a challenge, but I'm so proud of this cast. Like no one else could play these characters in my mind. Like it's a perfect ensemble of perfect people to play these roles.
I'm very excited.
Yeah.
I'm very excited. And you're right, I do believe it's a very timely project right now. Very,
Yeah.
very timely. And I give you a lot of credit because being that this is your first time directing a play like this, and then again with just a few cast members playing so many different roles, I give you a lot of credit because that's I have to believe that's very, very challenging. So have you been involved with the Baldwinsville Theater Guild a lot in the past, or is this your first hoorah here in any fashion, or have you been acting here?
Yeah, I just I was able to act. I played George in Kinky Boots.
Okay.
And then but yeah, this is my first like year being involved with Baldwinsville Theater Guild. I think my mom did some shows. She did like Music Man, I think in the '90s. So she was involved with it a little bit, and I've known a lot of the people involved with it. So it's just a matter of time for me to like want to get involved.
To roll
Yeah.
right into it. Oh, that's great. I'm very glad that you were here tonight. And I know you're busy, but I'm glad you could come and spend some time with us to give a different perspective on what's going on and let us know how you got involved, the challenges of all of that, and we all look forward to seeing this play. Thanks again. We would really appreciate you coming here, Nick. Okay?
Thank you very much.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Airport and drove to Laramie. The moment we crossed the Wyoming border, I swear I saw a herd of buffalo. Also, I thought it was strange that the Wyoming sign said, Wyoming, like no place on earth, instead of Wyoming, like no place else on earth.
Company member Lee Fondakowski.
Hi, this is Cindy from PAC again. This is our third segment from the Laramie project that is put on by the Baldwinsville Theater Guild. And now I have with me, I have Julia Jerumko and Garrett Robinson, who are actors, an actor and actress in this project. Welcome. Thank you very much for spending time with me tonight.
Thank you for having us.
I think I'd like to know, and I think the public would like to know, let me know how you got involved in this and the roles that you play. I find this absolutely fascinating. Let's start with you, Julia. How'd you get involved in this
good.
project?
So I actually originally auditioned in the play in 2020.
Okay.
Yeah, we were supposed to put it on, and then, as everybody knows,
Right,
COVID
COVID.
happened. So the project was stopped, and when BTG decided to put it on again, they reached out to all the cast members who were originally participating and asking, hey, are you still available and are you still interested? And I was like, yes!
Oh, great.
So that's how I made my way back to the Laramie project.
Now, what roles do you play?
So I have a few roles. So some of them are actual people, like townspeople from the town of Laramie. And other roles are just kind of like caricatures, if you will, like a judge. They don't really have a name, or like townsperson. So I have a little mix of personality and non-personality.
Okay. Now, what encouraged you for your original involvement in this? What brought you to the Laramie project?
Acting, honestly. I just wanted to get involved in community theater.
Okay.
And originally I had worked with the director before, not Nick, but the previous director. I had worked with her before, and so I was like excited to work with her again. But then after reading Laramie and knowing what it's about and all this stuff, I was really interested and happy and excited that that BTG decided to bring it back around.
Well, and I'm glad too, because I think it's a very timely project, and I think it's very powerful. From what I've read, I haven't seen it, but I have to believe it's very powerful.
It is, yeah.
It is. Now, Garrett,
Yes.
now what got you involved in all of this?
Actually, I'd seen a posting from Colin and one from Christina indicating that they'd had several vacancies for people of my age group. You know,
Be careful.
Well, I was trying to be gentle with that, but they, in other words, they needed help. They had some roles to fill, and generally speaking, this isn't my type of genre, if you will, but the story itself is so very important that I felt I had to at that point step in and audition. because the story needs to be told. It needs to be told repeatedly so that it's not dropped or forgotten.
That's right. It doesn't continue to keep happening like
Right.
this.
Right. Normally, I'm a character actor. I look at a role and say, "Boy, that sure would be a whole lot of fun to play. I'm gonna audition for that." And well, some of the characters I have in this show, I don't think I'd ever wake up in the morning and say, "Shoo, boy, I want to play that guy." But again, the roles are powerful and necessary and painful to play.
Well, I imagine that's a good word to describe some of it. It's
Yeah.
painful.
Yeah, but they have to be done, and they have to be done right.
Then it has to be told. I guess story has to be told. And I'm amazed that there's just that many cast members with that many roles, regardless if it's an actual role or, like you said, a caricature. But I really look forward to having them bring the show in here because, as we've said, it's a very powerful message and very important message to put across.
Absolutely.
But I want to thank you both so much for coming in. I know you're busy, so I won't keep you. But thanks again for coming and giving us a little background about you, your roles, and we look forward to seeing you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Much appreciated.
I think that's fine. Yeah, I think that's fine. Once we have more like things like barrels and whatever on the stage, hopefully we can have copies.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's
Just want to make sure that it's still.
Yes, that's good, yeah. Great, all right. So top of 50. Great, when you're ready.
The Gem City of the Plains.
Laramie, Wyoming, often called the Gem City of the Plains, is now at the eye of the storm. The cowboy state has its rednecks and yahoos for sure, but there are no more pickets per capita in Wyoming than there are in New York and Florida.
Critical condition after a severe beating, this small city which bills itself as Wyoming's hometown wrestled with
It was huge. Yeah, it was herds, and we're talking hundreds of reporters, which makes a huge dent in this town's population. There's reporters everywhere, news trucks everywhere on campus, everywhere in the town, and we're not used to that type of attention to begin with. We're not used to that type of exposure.
Hi, this is Cindy Clark for the fourth time here, and we're with discussions about the Baldwinsville Theater Guild, their newest play, the Laramie Project, and with me now I have one of the actors, Alex Sandler. Thank you very much, Alex, for joining us this evening.
Thank you for having me, Sam.
And Alex is going to tell us a little bit about how he got involved in the role and what roles he plays, because I've said before, there's just 10 or 12 actors playing 60 to 65 roles, which I can't even begin to imagine what we have to go through to hit all of that. But Alex has also been to Laramie, and he's going to touch on that just a little bit too. So let's start with how you got involved with this project, the Baldwinsville Theater Guild. How's that?
Yeah, so I live in Syracuse.
Okay.
And I'm active at CNYP, CNY Playhouse. I was just in a show there called The Book of Will, and we had a preview where a member of the Baldwinsville Theater Guild attended and messaged me on Facebook afterwards asking me to audition for this show. She thought that I'd be a great fit for it, and the day after that show closed, I was feeling so much post-show depression. I was like, okay, we're gonna go out, we're gonna audition for another one right away. And I came here, and this is my first show with BTG.
Oh, and I think it'll be a good experience. I mean, our community here is very receptive to the Baldwinsville Theater Guild, and because the quality of their performances of the plays they do. Absolutely. Now, you just wanted you wanted to get involved in another play, or was there something that interested you more for the Laramie Project?
I'm certainly been interested in this story in particular. I've seen the show before. I definitely have personal connections to it. But I'm always looking for an excuse to be on stage, an excuse to be with theater people. Creating art in a communal way is deeply important and powerful to me.
Now, how long have you been doing acting?
Since I was 4.
4.
I was in about at least a show a year from the ages 4 to 19. I was the president of my thespian society in high school. But then during college, I took a 4 years off, and just a couple of years ago got back involved, and I cannot express how much better I'm feeling, how much more connected I feel to the world being in theater.
Oh, that's good, and we're glad that you're here too. Now, it's my understanding that you have actually been to Laramie, Wyoming,
This is true.
where all of this took place. In what year did this happen?
I went to Laramie, it would have been 2015.
Okay. Okay, so the actual event that this is based on, was that in the 1990s or?
Yes, 1998.
Okay, 1998, okay. All right, well, tell us how that affected you going to Laramie.
Honestly, I had a terrible time in Laramie. I really did not like it. The reason I was there, my brother went to grad school at University of Wyoming, and we went to see his graduation. And then there was the worst snowstorm that they had had in several decades, which is also featured in the show. And we were stuck there for 2.5 weeks. They shut down all of the highways. They grounded all of the planes. We could not leave. And we were staying in this very rundown little motel that just did not have good water pressure. I was in very close quarters with my grandfather and my mother for far too long. And so that ended up just being a very stressful experience for me. The town itself was also, I remember as soon as we drove in, there was a giant billboard with the, evolution from, ape to man with a big red circle with an X through it. And I was like, oh, okay, this is the kind of place that I'm going to be for the next couple weeks. And I was just very against being there for any longer than I absolutely could have been. But now looking back on it, I'm very grateful that I had that experience and that I was able to see this story from a more personal perspective. There's actually a line in the show where Moises Kaufman says, we're transitioning from our motel to a Best Western. Let's hope it's a better Western. And I remember begging my mother to see if we could get a room at the Best Western. Something slightly better than where we were staying.
So, but now that you're here, you're in the play. Mm-hmm. How many roles are you playing yourself?
I think 5. I do need to go back in my script to count up each individual one. Some of the bigger roles that I'm playing are, one of them is Aaron Kreifels. He is the young man who found Matthew Shepard tied to the fence post. He was a university student at the time. And then another role of mine is Matt Galloway. He was the bartender who saw Matthew Shepard and his assailants leave together, so a key eyewitness in the case.
Okay. Now, it would seem to me that it would be very difficult kind of flipping from one role to another to get into character, to be able to portray exactly what you want to portray. If you're with 5 different people, that's got to be very, very difficult, because you have to, I'm not familiar with all the terms, but you really got to get into character. And if you're flipping back and forth from one character to another, what's the challenge there? How hard is that?
It's hard. I think this has been one of the most emotionally tolling theater experiences that I've had. Because it's not just that, you're playing multiple characters, because they're not characters. These were real people.
Right.
And so I can't, I can't just ham it up. I can't really just have fun with it and have a good time. And not that I'm not enjoying this process, but it is so much more harrowing to read and embody actual people's words than
reality.
Yeah.
Reality, yeah. Absolutely. That's got to be very, very different. Well, we certainly all look forward to seeing this play, and I appreciate you coming in, taking time, because I know you're busy doing rehearsals, but thank you so much for coming in and spending some time and giving us your thoughts and your perspective on this Laramie project, which we all look forward to seeing.
Of course.
But thank you
so much
very
for
much,
having me.
Alex. Thank you.